One, and we should be live. Mr.
Right.
Board Gamer, how's it going,
Hello.
man? How you
Yeah, good.
doing?
Thanks, mate. Good. I'm good.
Long
Oh,
time no see, right?
my head is really offset. It's okay though. It's fine.
I'll try and
It's
move you a
like
little bit here.
no, it's okay. I just look much more like a hobbit than normal.
That's true.
Just look a little tiny
I
little,
don't know why it's
little
doing
hobbit
that. That's so
boy.
strange.
It's fine. You've done it on purpose. I know. To give yourself
No, you're
a bigger
cut off on my
stature.
screen as well. That's strange. Anyways, well, here we are, Mr. Hobbit, Board Gamer. It's a thrill to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming. I would identify as a hobbit. Like if you ever see the posts that I make pre-Citizen Con, I'm always like the Hobbit travels to Austin. So I'm friendly with the Hobbit folk. They're good
We should
people.
go on a quest together. That's what
That's
we
a
should
good
do.
idea.
It's look, I've got even shorter. Look, what have you done to me? And why have you done this?
Come up. Just
So I do this.
lift yourself up. There you
Do
go.
this. Actually, that's a good idea. Got a really expensive chair for a reason. I don't know how to operate it. It's just it's exciting. There we go.
There you go. Sounds good. Okay, well,
Perfect.
hey, welcome
Hi.
to episode 11 of the Late Night Cruise Show. This is my lunar landing episode 11. So pretty excited, man. So, Board Gamer, you put out a lot of content. Did you know that? Are you aware how much
I
content you
am
put out?
aware.
Holy moly. I think I made a mistake when I first met you because I thought the Board Gamer was like an individual, and I don't think that's actually right. I think it's like a team of people. I went back and I watched episode 1 of Board Gamer, and you should, I don't know if you go back and watch your old episodes, but it's awesome. But I wanted to know, like, who was that voice, the voice of the first episode? Do you remember?
The first episode.
Of the Board Gamer show.
So, originally there was so I play games with a lot of other people, Kit, Zin, DC, and these people, and we don't play much Star Citizen. Zin's going to be my editor now. But these are people I sort of like, when I started the Board Gamer channel, I played other games with. So they sort of like appeared on my channel. Yeah, it's a long time ago. I have no idea. It'll probably be Kit, probably the first person I played games with on the channel. You can hear her voice, but it could be a lot of other people.
That's crazy. Well, it's cool that you hired somebody. I'm really excited for you. You overall,
Yeah.
as a Board Gamer fan, I would say that you seem a lot calmer and everything seems a little bit more paired, I would say. I don't know if I can make that observation.
Yeah, so over the last, since Fleet Week, probably since 3.9's deployment, maybe, I've been sort of like grooming Zin to do editing work for me and be my channel aide. And she's probably going to start full time with me at the end of this month is the plan. But she's very critical of my work and was just basically like, that's crap, that's crap, that's crap. Why aren't you doing like that? That could be better. So I've started to at least form a better pipeline for the way I build videos. And sort of like started to make shorter videos and sort of like compartmentalize stuff and try to add value, but not overly fluff sort of like videos out now. So I'm hoping that people will see a bit of an improvement there before she starts working with me full time. And then there should be better B-roll. There should be much better looking videos. And I've sort of like should have probably done this over the last couple of years, but I'm a bit lazy. I like to play games and I like to play Star Citizen and talk about it more than I like to make it look good on my channel. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a terrible editor.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's just good having, two minds, having twice the brain power, Sometimes that's just better.
Or even brain power at all, which is literally what I've now added to the channel.
Well, I notice it. So if I notice an improvement, or not an improvement, but just a change, if I notice a change, other people do too. So I think you did the right choice there. I was thinking though, I think in the future that like it'll just be 16 hours live Board Gamer stream, and you'll just sit there on stream, and I don't even know, but that'll just be it.
So I mean, the dream is the dream is to be able to play Star Citizen in a way that when it's a fully fledged game that I can just grind and play it all day like I would normally, like I want to do with my life, because I love computer games. And Star Citizen is the most appealing game to me on paper, like when it's fully developed and when it's live. The idea of it is fantastic. I do want to grind on stream and make videos of it most of the time. Like I'm happy to do like 6 to 8 hour streams a day and then a video, but I need a team to be able to do that properly, to be able to edit that stuff, and I need other people to play with and people I really trust to play with that are less likely to betray you because you're paying them money IRL as a job. Can you imagine if someone like infiltrated my organization so I could do a big org like an Eve, and they brought it down from the inside, they sold all my stuff? Oh my, oh, the idea of that betrayal hurts my heart.
I'm so naive. I never played Eve, so I wasn't exposed to this type of atmosphere.
Oh,
Like, you're actually
yeah.
worried about this happening?
Yeah, that's that sort of stuff. So if you're not careful in Eve, someone could. I mean, there's people that infiltrated orgs over like a couple of years and got really high up, and then sold everything, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of assets, just sold them and just like disbanded the org.
Wow.
Like it's just like
Yeah.
the level of dedication and espionage in that game. And I mean, Star Citizen is going to be a significantly more sort of like, if it enables it, uh, people are going to be so much more invested in Star Citizen, both sort of like time, real money, and sort of like love of the game, that there's going to be some really interesting emergent gameplay. And I love the stuff in Eve, but I hate some of it as well. But hopefully, with lessons learned, I hope CIG do assimilate some of that Eve gameplay.
I hope so too. And I hope, I don't know, my naivety coming out, but I hope that the toxicity can kind of stay behind too. You know?
So as a player base grows, you're always going to have toxicity.
Yeah.
And Star Citizen overall has a older player base, so I think that's where you find, for the most part, the community relatively friendly, trying to get more people in. They want more people to play the game. Obviously, there's bad actors at extreme poles of they hate Star Citizen, they love Star Citizen, you can't say anything wrong, or the sort of like teachers' pets. You're bad, we're good sort of mentality that you're going to get. Just you're going to, once you get critical mass of like a community, you're going to have more and more and more of these people. But overall, I think Star Citizen as a community has been my favorite community to ever be part of, and like the friendliest and the nicest. And I genuinely like most of the people I've met through it. I mean, as I said, there are some bad actors that I think, oh, you prick. Um, but for the most part, it's pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Well, I had Dad Lando on here before. Have you met Dad
Okay.
Lando before? Yeah. Yeah. You know.
I've
Okay.
yeah, I've talked to him, and I've tweeted to him, but I haven't talked to him face to face, as it were.
He's a cool guy, but one thing he was telling me is that his older friends kind of judge him because he plays video games, and I just think about, like, what a weird barrier of entry for like the older crowd is for fear of judgment for playing video games.
I don't fear judgment from anyone about anything I do. I suppose it's because what. So why? Okay, as long as people aren't hurting anyone, I wouldn't kink shame or game shame. Like at the end of the day, it's like it's your stuff that you do. I think that's weird that they judge him. Maybe they're just interested and curious because they know nothing about it.
Yeah, well, it's a
Do-
different
do-
generation as well, right?
yeah, I think maybe it is because they know nothing about it. They're like, we don't understand why you'd want to do that. Um,
Oh
I don't
well.
understand. I don't understand hip hop. I mean, these are just things beyond us.
Yeah, that's true. I also heard that you're getting into a Warhammer shenanigan with the devs. That's pretty exciting. That more
So yeah, I
exciting?
mean, obviously not an official Star Citizen thing,
Oh,
but in one of John Crew's, with John Crew was discussing a vehicle or something, and in the back of a Star Citizen, inside Star Citizen Live or something, or calling all devs, behind him was a big 140,000 Forge World, like 500 pound model, like a big old Acastus Folion Knight. And I went, oh, John Crew plays 40k, and then I noticed he actually streams some 40k painting and things like that, and he's actually pretty into it. So I messaged him on the off chance, John, when there's the lockdowns done, do you want to play some 40k? I'd love to play with you because there's a new edition of 40k coming out, and I haven't actually played it for a while. I'm up for collecting army. He was like, yeah, game on. And we've talked about potentially having something where we have backers versus some devs, again unofficial, and I maybe. I was like, oh my god, that'd be so cool. Like, I love 40k, and then I've realised a load of people in the Winslow UK office play 40k there as well. So They have like their own little tournaments and things. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I want to get involved with that if I can. And I used to be pretty good at painting. So sort of like I've got a bit rusty now. My eyesight isn't as good. It's painted that up the other week.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Missile launchers and like arm cannons. I don't know anything about Warhammer, so
that's from Adaptus Titanicus, which is sort of like the models are smaller scale, smaller scale. It's supposed to be bigger, more stompy things, but on a small scale on the board. I know what I mean. But the 40k is sort of like larger models, effectively, like more infantry. So that's like a big Titany Walker thing. I'm trying to think if I've got anything around that's not half built. No, I don't.
You mentioned painting though. Like, is painting a really important part of the gameplay? Like, if I paint something blue, is it like an ice mech or something like that?
So no, you can sort of like do what you want with your paint schemes and color schemes, though there are official paint schemes and color schemes and chapters and things like that as well. So you can paint them in a very specific. That's Legio Metallica, but some people would say it's Mars Mechanicus sort of paint scheme. But yeah, you can paint sort of like things a certain way, and that is because they're a particular chapter or a very particular make or whatever. But it doesn't really matter. You're there to play the game, and sort of like counts as long as you discussed it with your opponent first. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. And is it like there's like dice roll as well? Typical stuff.
Yeah,
like
so
that?
it's heavily RNG. It's very dice roll. It's tactic, strategy, and dice roll, moving stuff with tape measures. There's a new edition of the game coming out that's supposed to simplify a lot of stuff as well. I used to play tournaments like maybe 5-10 years ago. I used to play loads of 40k and Warhammer tournaments. I'm really into it. But then I just sort of like tailed off when I started working in restaurants. But now I'm sort of back into it again, although I don't have the time to be able to paint them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I didn't know you used to work in restaurants. You used to work in
Yeah,
restaurants?
Used to run my own restaurants and takeaways. Super stressful.
Oh yeah. I used to be a cook.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I actually originally went to school for cooking, so that I always have a job. That was my thing. So I don't know how that works in COVID though, post-COVID world.
People still need to eat, and there's like takeaways that are delivering. So lots of restaurants have become takeaways and deliveries with like quite good restrictions. I mean, the whole virus, as I understand it, as long as you're preparing your food well, that's fine. You just make sure you seal everything up. When I take stuff out of bags, I wash my hands and then prep my food. I think it's all good. Maybe I haven't got it yet. I don't think.
Who knows?
Who knows?
How has, like, you talk about cooking? How has, like, what was your life like before Star Citizen? You mentioned Diablo to me off screen, right?
Yeah, so I did a couple of years of other games before I did Star Citizen and VR. So VR, Diablo 3, Natural Selection, Titanfall. I was genuinely pretty good at Titanfall. It was like one of the, I think it was the 5th in the world to get a particular achievement. Gusa, it was called, doing it properly, which is where you had to shoot 50 pilots out of midair when they eject. And most of the time they're invisible when they're ejecting, so you have to estimate where they are. And then fire. It's pretty hard. And then I sort of like just fell into Star Citizen content when I went, oh, this looks good. I like this. And that's sort of how it started. And then got more and more traction, realized that no one was really creating content that I wanted on Star Citizen. So I started doing that. And then sort of grew pretty rapidly.
And if there's anybody out there listening, check out Boredgamer's second episode number 2 that he did. It is awesome. Like, I don't know if you ever go back and look at your older episodes, but your second episode is awesome. Like right now, like I watched it last night. It is killer. Like,
just second episode?
Yeah.
Episode of what?
It's just like the way the game was, the way your expression, like, and here's the thing, Bored. I was talking with this person last night who's going into Star Citizen for the first time, and it was really appreciating them seeing everything for the first time. You know, it's like, oh, this ship's so big, and oh, I love the lighting and all this stuff, right? And like stuff we take for granted. But in episode number 2 of your series, you can see this expression in you. It's the first time you're seeing a lot of this crap. Kind of funny too, seeing where the game was in your episode too.
So a lot of stuff got purged from my channel. So it's mostly Star Citizen content now.
Oh, I see.
When I was worried about some of the YouTube Armageddon stuff, like I was worried that they were gonna say that lots of content was for kids because it was computer games.
Right, right.
So I actually purged a load of stuff from my channel. I've got it saved on one of my hard drives, all my old videos, and I will probably re-upload them on my second channel. It's probably a good idea. Just realized what videos you're talking about. Okay, like started with Arena Commander stuff,
Yep.
and then started talking about it was Arena Commander I was doing at the time
Yep.
because that's all we had.
You're seeing it now, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to check out episode 2 of Board Gamer. It's killer.
So Star Citizen Arena Commander, that's what it's called. Oh well.
Only has
Oh,
800 views right now, I think. Well, it did last night. So I was like, man,
yeah,
more people needs to see this.
815. Oh my god, back in the day.
Back in the day.
My freelancer ship buyers guide though, that's got 52,000. That's an old video. Need to do more ship buyers guides, mate.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, people like ships, that's the thing.
All right, let me get this off the screen, otherwise I'll be looking at that.
You know, and you look back now after you look at those videos, do you just think what was the biggest challenge that you think you encountered in your your YouTube and Star Citizen career so far? You remember?
I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how to make money from YouTube. I didn't know how to do anything. I had to learn it all. I think the thing is that I know Star Citizen pretty well, and the major thing to being successful, or the major thing I had to learn, was understanding how YouTube worked with tagging, subscribers, titles, thumbnails, how to actually just conform the videos correctly for YouTube. Just all that YouTube stuff was harder than playing Star Citizen and talking about Star Citizen by far. And it, like, overall in the sort of like YouTube journey, just finding my niche into Star Citizen was very lucky. I would say it wasn't hard; it was just luck. Just like, oh, Star Citizen's good. I like this. Oh, people are watching. So,
What about from the game itself? Like, have there been moments where you're just like face palming yourself, being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this just happened"?
yeah, but only in sort of like, not from a this is bad content way. Like, anything that happens to Star Citizen is good for my channel. Like,
That's
I will
true.
cover this. I will cover the Star Citizen news. I will cover what happens with the project, warts and all. I do think there's going to be a happy ending. That's not a euphemism. And I I really enjoy Star Citizen, but they do stuff wrong. They're going to make mistakes. I mean, hopefully the project will be going and the game will be supported for the next 25 years. I mean, I think that's the fucking dream. Maybe 20 years, and that's still pretty extreme. But I think the idea there is that they're going to make mistakes. They're going to do stuff wrong, and the community is able to hold them accountable to quite a high level, which is unheard of with most games. Because Star Citizen isn't just money driven, although it is a company still. It's very community driven. You can tell that Chris doesn't just want money. He does want his dream game to come true. He wants the I made the best game. You can tell that when you talk to him. You can tell that in his vision. He wants his vision of the best game to come true. People are saying the best damn space sim ever. It's not. He wants to make the best game ever. That's what he wants.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just slightly more lofty as a goal.
No, I got the same feeling from him. Yeah, because I got the chance to talk with him at CitizenCon as well. It's funny hearing about all the trolls.
It was a good CitizenCon. It was a good CitizenCon.
Which one? Oh, the Manchester. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Both
different.
times in Manchester, I've had a good time actually.
It was different. I felt like he was a little bit. Felt like he was a bit more under pressure at Manchester than he was in Austin. Because at Austin, he kind of went around and shook people's hands. He wasn't doing that at Manchester. So I don't know.
Potentially more tired, and I think the thing that he'd showed, I think they had problems, and they had a crash. They had some problems with the demo. I think he was probably stressed and tired. He probably had jet lag as well.
I remember the VoIP. I remember he was not happy about the situation with the VoIP. Remember that. Um, hey, what's it like when you tell people what you do for a living? Or do that like in the real world?
Can you define what people?
Anybody? I don't know. The garbage man. I don't know. Who do you talk to in the real world?
So people I talk to in the real world is obviously very little at the moment due to lockdown. Previous to that, people are typically quite interested when I tell them what I do. Like, oh, really? So what is that? Because I can talk about the intricacies of YouTube and making videos in general, rather than specifically Star Citizen when I talk to them. So like taxi drivers and things, they sort of like, oh yeah, yeah, my mate does a YouTube channel. Can you help him with it? Sort of thing. Probably not. But yeah, I mean, if people think it's interesting, I think. Um,
What's some of
uh,
your like big takeaways then? Like if you were to, I don't know, go back and talk to yourself from 4 years ago, what advice would you say to them?
I don't know. Uh, don't invest in oil.
Don't invest in
Uh,
oil. That's good advice.
um, uh, I don't know. Just keep on doing your content and making the mistakes and understanding what you're doing from them. Um, just start off with just doing news content and just do the content that you want to do. Is basically what I'd say to myself. So when I'd started, if I had the money to be able to employ someone immediately, I think my channel would be significantly larger now. Um,
I was watching Maddie Lewis's stream last night, and that's kind of what they were saying as well. Like they were just saying how thankful they are that they had like a girlfriend or somebody who supported them in their ventures. Because I feel like you kind of need that. Like if you want to get anywhere, you have to have someone to help you out. So the fact that you didn't, until now, that's amazing. You
I
just
mean,
kept trucking along.
well, it's sort of like at the beginning when I started expanding my Star Citizen content, I had like Saurus and Twerk at the time, Nubifire and the Redacted crowd and stuff like that. So I did have the support of a lot of people, and be able to talk to people and be able to bounce ideas off them and stuff. So certainly didn't do it entirely alone, and very much it was community driven. Everything I did. I very much used the community to help build my channel, because the community is a useful tool to getting feedback. Like this, if you listen to people that watch your stuff, you're gonna and you sort of act on what they say, the good, like the good actors there, then you're going to do well, or at least better.
Yeah. No, I agree. I kind of feel like you're just going into the details of I don't know what happened to your green screen, but you've shrunk a considerable amount.
Well, have I shrunk again?
Yeah, I'll show you on the. I'll switch it over to the other one
Oh
there.
no!
It's okay. No,
Why
don't.
am I a little board gamer? Don't want to be a little
This
board
is how it
gamer.
looks on my Zoom view too. I don't know what's going on.
I've lost the zoom thing.
Too many
1
windows.
second. Oh no! Why has it done this?
So AI
Okay,
has taken over your webcam.
do that. Is that? Oh no, that's even worse. Uh,
It's so strange because before, like you were manipulating this camera pretty well. It seemed. I was almost going to say it was agile.
well, I haven't got those controls up at the moment.
Oh, I see.
uh,
Yeah.
I didn't think I needed them anymore.
There you go.
Oh, oh.
Went from Frodo to Treebeard. Well done. Escalated
Okay.
quickly. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Back on top. Oh,
Yeah, I was just thinking about just your involvement in YouTube. And it makes me wonder if, like in the future, maybe we'll see Star Citizen have its own kind of content broadcasting network. Like it's like imagine if Twitch broke the games into like subscriptions or something, and like Star Citizen would have its own kind of branding of content. Like, and I see that they're doing raids. I don't know if you saw it today, but they raided Meyer, and I'm like, what
yeah,
a cool thing to
1,500
do.
people.
Yeah, what a cool thing to do. Like way to support the community, but also it kind of allows us to establish ourselves within this community too,
So, okay, the issue that you'll see with that, okay, is that some people get angry and jealous. Okay, or they see something in a slightly different light, or they're misinformed by stuff. So you'll see people then saying, why haven't I got hosted? Why did he get hosted? Why are some people, content creators, getting favored? The only reason they're growing is because they're getting favored. Things like that. It's you will get some bad actors complaining, and typically you'll see those bad actors on the forums quite aggressively complaining. And um, yeah, so there's some downsides to um, some of that, because of them hosting people, because some people will actually go, well, hang on, why aren't I getting hosted? Um, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. I'm glad they're doing it rather than not doing it,
You're
because it
glad they're
genuinely
doing it?
helps. Oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It genuinely helps. I'm just saying, as someone that is on the end of Board Gamer, gets all this free stuff from CIG. Let me just say, the only thing I have received recently, or at all, is free ships. That's only just a very recent thing. I got a couple of ships for giveaways. I went, fuck it, everyone calls me a shill anyway. Might as well start taking ships. But like I get accused of getting huge amounts of favoritism from CIG, and I don't think I do. I mean, it's anecdotal on both ends. And people say like I've got free computers or money or stuff. That's just a complete lie. Um, it's just, and it was a weird lie as well. But what are you gonna do? What are you
What
gonna
could
do?
you? Yeah, you can't please everyone. No, that's what Mactor is
No.
saying there.
So what grinds my gears with certain things though is when people tell blatantly obvious lies, or something that's blatantly false, and they don't show a link, they don't show anything, they just say you did this. And I see that from the same few people on like Spectrum specifically about me and a few other content creators. They sort of like, they will say something as if it's a fact, like that people should know about them, and I go, this is a demonstrable lie that you're stating as truth, and I don't know if you believe that or if you're saying it maliciously. And I always assume that people are just misinformed,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to attribute malice. Um, but I just find it weird that some people are like that. But you're going to get that with communities. You're going to get that with individuals. You're going to get that with anything. Some people are going to dislike it. Some people are going to attack it. And as I said, you'll get that with the Star Citizen community. You'll get that with any size community. There'll be portions of it that don't like something, or that actively go after it, or whatever. And you have bad actors. But I think Star Citizen as a whole is actually pretty good. Like genuinely, I think the older crowd has really helped it be significantly less toxic. But you'll still have those toxic elements in certain spaces.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing I wonder as well. Like, is Star Citizen that special in the hemisphere of gaming?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't play enough games to know. I came from Flight Simulator, so what do I know?
oh, okay. No, so Flight Simulator's got a good sort of crowd behind
It's
it.
an interesting crowd, that's for sure.
Well, I like the RP crowd for it. I watch a load of the RP videos
Oh,
for
aren't
it.
those hilarious?
Yeah, I like it when you'll get someone that's a really good RPer
Yeah.
with a load of people that aren't RPing, like they just join the servers. And I go, oh my God, this is so good. This is because these people are almost like pulled into the RP because he's so good at it. He's like, he's not having any, it's like, why are you on the control tower if you don't know what you're doing? Sort of thing to people. And they're like, I'm sorry. Yeah. So some of that stuff is really funny. I'm sort of like looking forward to some of the stuff that people do with proper, well developed Star Citizen role play. When you get people that are really good and really funny and really confident at it, I think it's going to be amazing for it.
And just so I can set some context, like I like before, like yes, Flight Simulator, but I also played Ultima Online a lot, and I was a part of a roleplay
Okay.
guild there, and like that's fantasy, what we called hardcore RP. I don't know if that translates into other games, but um, I don't know. Like you talk about this, and I think about ADI, Atlas Defense Industries, and they do these Twitch streams, which are like very military, you know, and very structured and stuff. And like that kind of role play, I feel is different than the role play we did in UO. You know, it's not as fanatical. It's almost hyper realistic, and like that kind of translates to Flight Simulator as well. So like, what do you really consider to be role play then?
So it's going to be different for any individual role play group you're in. It's whatever the bounds of your role play are, and some of that's going to be very light role play, some of that's going to be very extreme role play, and it's going to be very specific to a particular sort of set of rules. So you're going to have those hyper militaristic stuff, or you're going to have people that sort of like much more light with it and bring, you're allowed to talk about whatever you want. But the thing is that it's going to be down to the org. and each individual roleplay org is basically a different game almost. It's the way I see it. So roleplay can just take so many different forms. And if people don't really know what we're talking about with roleplay and stuff, go watch some GTA 5 roleplay videos
Yes.
and enjoy that, because that stuff is good. That
I
stuff is
l-
genuinely good.
I love how big the RP community is in GTA. It's comical. Like it's probably the biggest platform for RP. And like, how did this happen?
Well, it happened because of the nature of the sandbox of the game, because you can drive around, because you can pull people out of vehicles, because you can do some silly stuff like that, and because you can move around and have these sort of like elements in different different scenarios constantly moving around. You're able to do that. Star Citizen is like that, but a magnitude of magnitudes bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the FOIP and the VoIP and all those sort of tools to make it into something genuinely quite amazing. And I'm surprised we haven't seen some emerging YouTubers just doing that. But I suppose that there's other better stuff they can make more money on at the moment. Um, for their needs anyway. But I suspect in the next couple of years we'll start seeing some pretty big YouTubers either converting over to Star Citizen or emerging from Star Citizen that are doing that sort of stuff.
I hope to do a lot of that stuff with Ultima or the Ultima Energy org. That's
Okay,
definitely
yeah.
a big goal of mine. Like strict role play, kind of story driven stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But what about the Daymar Rally? You think the Daymar Rally is an RP event?
Not really. I mean, it's okay. So it's an in-law event. I think it's got like I refer to it as a light role play event. You can role play if you want to. I don't think people are gonna be upset if you don't, sort of thing. Um, I think the people that do role play it obviously have quite a lot of fun. Yeah. I do like the Demo Rally. I like the in-law stuff. The sort of like in-game event things. I do think it adds to the flavour of Star Citizen, especially when they're entirely sort of like player run. I think that's just so hard to and terrifying to organise.
I
It's one of the
know.
reasons, you know, I don't organise stuff on my channel. I prefer to join in another org doing whatever they're doing rather than organise that stuff myself. I'm too chaotic.
Same here. I have such a hard
Mm.
time with it. And I appreciate Corsair so much. He's so damn good at it, you know? And he's got like all these other races lined up now. He's got like a race a month. It's insane.
Yeah, no, good for him. I'm glad he's found what he enjoys doing in the verse. And
I
Damo
hope he
Rally,
enjoys it. Jeez.
yeah, that's a good point. I hope he enjoys it. It's like Joran. I hope he enjoys helping out and sort of coordinating all these bar citizens, because he's extremely like competent at that. But what if he's really competent and needed but hates it?
hmm
Like, hopefully not.
I wanted to ask you, you said on one of your videos that you said you'd take $100,000 to go wild in one of their studios. Do you remember saying this?
Yeah, that was quite recently. So
Tell me about this. I want to hear more. I wish you elaborated on the video.
no, I was just sort of making a point. So they, by my guesstimate, so last time we saw the finances, I think it's 3.269 million. I think that's the amount that they were getting from subscribers. I can check the accuracy of my figures in my head. I think they're reasonably accurate. So yeah, so 3.3 million from subscribers each year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So subscriber money is supposed to go largely on community engagement content, the videos and stuff like that. I didn't feel like we're getting that amount of value from the community engagement from the videos, more specifically the videos. I want more video content. I want better video content. Has got better recently again, quite. But I do want more. I want according devs each week, preferably, as well as the Star Citizen lives, as well as a ship showcase update thing, or deep dive into a mechanic and inside Star Citizen. And that's the sort of like I'm always going to want more and more and more and more and more content. I'm greedy for it, and I'm incentivized to want them to make more. But I think my estimates they're probably on 4 to 4.5 million now a year from subscribers. So I think that, as I said, give me $100,000 or pounds, and let me go crazy in the Winslow studio, and I'll get some content about development of the game, because I don't think that players necessarily need to see all the sort of super pretty stuff. Sometimes they just want to know things. That's why the people really like some of those AMAs. That's why they like the sort of like game dev where they're discussing a mechanic, because they can get engagement, they can get understanding of the project, they're showing and telling about the project, and I think they should be doing that more now rather than less. Do you remember the older days of the project when they were constantly talking about the mechanics and what those mechanics were going to be? Yeah, they changed, and yeah, they are going to change more. But I just want them to do that more now, not less.
I don't really remember getting them getting into terrible detail about the mechanics though. Like I don't know if you're referring to like Wingman 10 for the chairman, like in
Yeah,
those
10,
kind
10
of
for the
discussions.
chairman, Wingman's hanger, but just more sort of like the way that devs discussed stuff. So they
Okay.
were much more open. So reverse the verse, for example, when Ben was there,
I love
um,
that. That's
yeah,
great.
so they'd talk quite candidly about different mechanics and different ships and all that sort of stuff. They just answer questions sort of freely. And now there's sort of like a lot more sort of, they won't answer certain questions. They won't talk about certain things because they've got plans for that in the future. Obviously they're not a junior company anymore. They've got marketing plans. They're a much bigger company. They know how to make money, and I can't fault them for that. I want more. Give me more video content.
Makes me wonder sometimes like well what I do for a living is like customer support for like
Hmm.
tech company, and it's huge. Like the majority of the company is customer support. It makes me wonder how much we've alleviated from CIG as customer support representatives. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what I'm just addressing what Carbon Tales is saying about your content outdoes official Star Citizen content, and I just think about I just wonder if
I
it's
mean,
intentional. You know, what if they want us to be this way?
I mean, I think they realize that we are useful tools. Um, yeah, I mean, they're aware that the community and the community content creators are brilliant marketing tools from. That's why they've started giving ships away to a load of content creators for giveaways with every patch. They've gone, well, let's start supporting the community more. That's why they tried to do the referral competition. They thought the referral competition was supporting the community. It wasn't. That was that. I'd said they burnt some bridges by accident by trying to be more interactive and trying to support the community more. Obviously, there's always the capitalist edge of they're supporting the community to make more money. They're supporting the community to get more players into it. They're supporting the community to get a benefit from it. But I can't really fault them for that. I think that's a good thing, to be
Absolutely, I
honest.
agree. Yep.
Um,
I mean, I keep track of that spreadsheet. You know, the crowdfunding spreadsheet that
yeah,
goes around
yeah.
the community, and
Got it
like
on my screen now.
I got the like I always follow the growth population growth forecasting delta, and like you know they really have to do a lot of recruiting to hope for a future that they like. You know, if we want to be running this for 30 years, then we need a specific growth rate for that to be sustainable. So what
Yeah,
they're doing is
that's
right.
that's true. They do need other monetization options potentially as well after the game gets to critical mass and released, just because of how their funding works. But it's just interesting to see when you look at the actual money they've made month on month on month. In some months, it's double. Most months, it's double from last year. I think actually in all months, it's over double. In May, it's 8 times the amount. They've made so much money starting from November of last year. Like it's out of control.
Yes,
I,
it's
I,
out of control. It's like a nuclear meltdown.
I don't understand. They were making a lot of money before, like obscene amounts, but now it's sort of like I don't know. It's like got critical mass and it's sort of rolling around.
I
And all I
honestly,
think is, where's
I,
my money?
I
Where's my
hope
money, CIG?
I hope it gets to 1 million just for shits and giggles, just for the lulls, or 1 billion. Sorry, not 1 million. Yeah.
uh, I mean, it will hit 1 billion eventually. I mean, it might be after it's released. Um,
Whatever. They'll start selling real estate, and then you know what they'll do? They'll sell paint with the real estate, and they'll be at $1 billion. Game over.
so they don't need to. So once they get a game with enough players and they sell in-game currency, they don't need to sell stuff out of game. They just need to sell the currency.
Right.
Since they give their currency value, and if they do it right, then like the Eve with Plex, that it's people can play entirely without it, and do really fucking well. but people can buy it and they might use it to like gold transfer stuff out of game for real money effectively. I think that they could make billions. I mean, we're not talking Fortnite money, but we're talking a lot.
I'm
We're
talking
talking
Fortnite,
Blizzard
mighty.
money.
I want us to go against Fortnite.
I mean, I think that a lofty goal is getting to 50% of World of Warcraft. That's a a targeted goal. That's a lot of people. It's like, how many people play World of Warcraft at the moment? 6, 7 million.
I'm
It's
sorry, I don't know that. Jamie, look that up. um, I mean, I thought it used to be more like 10 years ago. Wasn't it like a certain percentage of the population of the planet? It was like 10% of the planet or something. No, 1% of the planet was playing World of Warcraft. So I guess
it's back up to 10 million. So I know it dipped to about 7 million, but it's back up to 10 million World of Warcraft. Because WoW Classic, of course.
Yeah, that's true. All the old people came back.
I briefly played WoW Classic and then went, it's actually too slow for me now. Like, I've got old.
What
So it's
was
too
your
slow.
character build? Do you have a regular character build?
Originally, I was a troll hunter. That was when the game first came out in end of 2012.
Okay.
No, what am I thinking?
But WoW would have been like 2004 or something, wouldn't it?
2004. Yeah, what am I thinking? 2012. 2004.
An expansion, maybe. I don't know.
Under 2004. Sorry, I thought I was a lot younger than I was for a second.
Sorry about that.
Oh shit! No, that. Oh my god, yeah. So I was, around that time, I was playing Eve as well. Eve had just come out. Oh man. Oh, and then Half-Life 2 came out. And it was good.
Those are the golden days, man. Yep.
Genuinely one of the golden days.
Yeah. Do you think Elite Dangerous will kick CIG in the butt, like just for motivation?
No, so I think what you'll see is some basic, maybe reasonably cool additions with the walking on planets and hopefully walking on stations. That's an Eve reference, but don't worry about that. I think it will be pretty basic, but I think it will still add quite a lot to the game. I think whatever Elite Dangerous doing well is only going to draw more attention to Star Citizen.
That's true.
There is a space in the industry for multiple games. It's not like, Star Citizen killer. Star Citizen is not going to be ready for years. It's not going to be ready for years. How is it going to kill it? Look at the amount of money they're making before the game's released. Like, it's. I think any good or bad things that happen from their release of what's Odyssey, I think that CIG will use to their betterment. They'll go, this worked, this didn't work, good. Send that to marketing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just wonder if we'll totally benefit from this. Like, I just think about Chris Roberts and I fantasize that like he sits in his office and he sees what game just came out and the crazy thing they came up with, and I imagine him being like, "Okay, we need that in the game," you know, or whatever they get.
I hope that he's, for the most part, had all of the vision come out of his head already, and now he just okays things where this is good, this is bad, this is good, work on that more. Because
Yeah,
you hear stories about him micromanaging pixels and stuff, and I don't really mind that if it's like I want it green rather than red. That's sort of fine. But the problem is that bad actors or outrage media will get hold of that and use that against him, which I suppose doesn't work, as we see, because all that does is generate more money for Star Citizen somehow. I don't know how it works, but that's what happens.
I mean, I tell people to not buy spaceships. I'm like,
Yeah,
don't
me
play
too.
Star Citizen.
The only thing you should ever buy is a starter pack, and maybe if you've got a load of spare money, an Avenger Titan upgrade. Oh, that's naughty though. But that's all you need. Everything else you should get in game and can get it in game, or eventually will be able to. And if you want anything else, buy some better hardware for your computer.
I wish we could collect a commission on the spaceships that we sell. Like, give me a referral for spaceship selling instead of a referral on the
Oh
game selling.
man. Oh man. Oh. What if they do that? What if they give you money per
I will
referral?
sell. I will be
Oh,
a ship cart or a ship salesman. That'll be my new job.
oh, makes me feel dizzy.
Yeah,
No,
I
but I'm
just
sort of glad. I'm sort of glad that they don't. The reason for that is that um, think of the incentivized how I'd be to get people into the game. Just literally, that would be shill. That would be you. You need to get people into the game to get money. So how can we trust what you say? It's a slippery slope with stuff like that.
I getcha. I just, people come onto my channel because I'm always flying a caterpillar, and they see how much money I make with it, and they're like, "Oh, we have to get a caterpillar now because he makes so much money." I'm like, "Yep." I just, put in my referral code when you purchase your caterpillar. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I think it'd be interesting to see how the gold seller stuff works and how is that supported with CIG. Like, um, so obviously there's the grey market at the moment with Star Citizen, so they don't support people selling spaceships, but they don't stop it. They don't go your account's banned. Um, they if you try and sell an account or whatever, I think it technically always remains the to the ownership of the person that originally made it. So you just have to sort of like that's a little bit more against terms of service, I suppose, technically. Um, but it'd be interesting to see how gold sellers evolve, especially now that there's a finance app going to be in
Yeah.
3.10, because that gives value to money. Now,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, not true value yet because we don't have no more resets, but eventually we will have no more resets. And gold sellers, if CIG do not stop gold sellers, and that basically allows for a transfer of money out of the game. So you go, I can turn my UEC into real money. That's going to be interesting if they allow that effectively by not stopping it. Um,
I hope they don't. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
I think that they might be forced to stop it by like governments saying,
Yeah.
well, if you don't stop
Currency
that,
exchange.
your in-game currency has an exchange value,
Yeah.
and that means you're taxed on it.
Man, I have to pay tax for my Star Citizen credits. Okay, but I'm doing Laranite runs and I make like $10,000 a day, and it's like government calls up. It's like, hey, you got to pay tax for that. What the hell?
I think that was a genuine concern of some people in some games. I think they get around it and somehow, and obviously they can get around it by saying, we own this and it doesn't have any real value and you're not allowed to sell it. And if you do, we ban your account. Um, but it'd be interesting to see to what level that is because there's always going to be gold sellers in every game.
That's right. Yeah. When I had more fun here, he had opinions about the gray market. You
Mm-hmm.
have opinions about the gray market?
Not particularly strong ones
Okay.
beyond, I think you always have a grey market and a black market in games. I think the grey market is run very well on Reddit.
It is,
Like
yeah. Very well.
it's organized in a way that is for the betterment of the anyone that's involved in it. And they sort of like they crack down on people that are doing scams. There's some traders there that are trusted traders and middlemen that you can use and things like that. So, and I think it gives people that want a refund a genuine out with that as well. Like they've gone, well, they might not want a refund because Star Citizen's like, I hate Star Citizen. They might go, well, I've bought $8,000 worth of ships and I've had a baby. Get rid of my ships so that my child can go to college one day. Like, and that sort of stuff I think's actually quite good. Being able to sort of like buy out like that. And I met some people from the grey market that have made hundreds of thousands of dollars,
I love
and they've
that.
bought houses and stuff from it.
What a success
Um,
story.
it's capitalism, isn't it? Some people
Yeah.
have got lucky and they've identified a niche, they've got lucky, and they've been at the right place at the right time to make a boat ton of money. And good on them for it, probably. I mean, I think everyone's done well out of it. The game's probably got more funding, the people have got the ships that they want, and that person's made a lot of money. What I do genuinely worry about is cheating in all games. I'm worried about Star Citizen that's cheating because at the moment it's very, very easy to do cheaty stuff in Star Citizen with its sort of like the way its engine is. So I'm hoping that they have some very clever, hopefully not too invasive cheat protection eventually. But we'll have to see, I suppose. Or maybe they probably get away with it just with really, really, really extensive logs and sort of like AI that goes through them. some AI anti-cheat stuff would be good.
That's an interesting idea. You know, one thing that I really appreciate about you, Board, and I
Mm.
feel totally out of my league with, is your ability to theory craft. Like you have like a talent. I remember the first time I played with you in that 890 jump, and like the stuff you're talking about, like, and you don't talk about like on stream or a video. You start theory crafting stuff, and I'm like, what? Crazy, man.
It's because when I'm hosting my own stuff, I rein myself in with a plan. When I'm on other people's stuff or talking to other people, that I trust in them to rein me back or get signals from. I can't see your face, so I can't tell when I should stop talking. So I just sort of rant.
No, as far as theory crafting goes, I will fan those flames, man. I will put gasoline on it because it's fascinating to see you go off.
I love Star Citizen for being able to fantasize. It is a dangerous thing though, because let's be real. Like, the way I see individual mechanics or ships or everything is not going to be how they necessarily are, and my ideas for how I assume a mechanic's going to be is going to be different from yours. Is going to be different from someone else's.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people disappointed with any given mechanic. But I like talking about it. I like talking about games. I'm a massive nerd. I love talking about Star Citizen. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the mechanics, the whole reason I brought you here was to talk about the fuel mechanic because the fuel mechanic is near and dear to my heart because of Ultima Energy. However, you are a very talented researcher, I would say. One of the reasons why I started watching you in the first place because you're so damn research. You have a good ability with it. And when I originally, got into the Starfarer business,
Mm-hmm.
never once did it cross my mind of getting into quantum fuel. Never. I always thought it was either hydrogen or some other type of processed gas you would pull from a gas giant. So I mean, why is everyone upset about quantum fuel? Where's the expectation? Was there a document or something that leaked about quantum fuel with Starfarers? Because I never read it.
Yeah, so the original thing that was said about Starfarers is that we'd be able to gather and refine quantum fuel. Okay.
Did they
Um,
specify quantum fuel?
yeah, they did. One second, I've got it in my notes
I'm gonna bring
somewhere,
up
and I
some
can.
sauce. I called
I,
Board Gamer here to ask for sauce, so that's what he's here for.
I think I probably say what I should really do is link more source in this stuff. Uh,
It's never
okay.
you never really talked about anything that I've been overly passionate about until now. So
Uh, let me. I've dropped you the link
Discord.
in Discord. So if you go to that page and go down, there's the one of the original marketing pictures, but
Man, you pulled this up so quick, dude.
it did specify in more detail.
Put some.
My brain's pretty good at categorizing stuff in like a filing system. I've got actually quite a bad short-term memory, but I've got a very good filing memory palace. I can see everything on a spreadsheet is actually how I do it. And that's the only way I can do it.
Oh, this is your website. Great job on the website, by the way.
I think my website's terrible, but it's effective for what it needs to be, which is providing sources for my content with all the links to the original sources.
Mistake.
But if you go down, there's designed to collect and refine quantum fuel in flight, which is one of the original marketing pictures for it. There's paragraphs and stuff with it as well.
Oh, this is this year? This document it says May 29th. I don't know which year it is though.
Yeah. This was from this year. I talked about the problems that people were having with the Starfarer very recently.
So the land mining vehicle would harvest the quantanium, bring it back to the Starfarer, which is then transferred to the Starfarer's refinery to make quantum fuel out of. So the Starfarer is a refinery ship.
So the thing is that, okay, so we know that the Starfarer is going to be able to gather gas and potentially liquids, but be able to gather gas, yeah?
Yep.
Not just for fuel, but for other purposes as well, other types of gas for mining purposes, whatever. Now, it's possible that there's other ways of getting quantum fuel from other types of gas, maybe. We don't know. We know that there's quantanium, which is going to be solid, which is mined by Prospector or a Mole at the moment. But we also know from what CIG have said that the Starfarer will be able to refine quantum fuel, but not to mine it, at least in the same way that the Mole and Prospector do. But it might be able to get it. We don't know yet because they haven't finished working out all the mechanics. And that's the thing. It's going to suit a purpose, the Starfarer. It is going to be able to get at least hydrogen fuel. It is going to be able to refine fuels down. and it's going to be able to get other gases and potentially other liquids and make money from that. So do I care if it can mine quantum fuel? Well, maybe I do. I don't know, because I haven't seen the rest of the stuff it can do. And if it can refine quantum fuel, does that mean that the prospector can drop the mined quantanium next to it? But we know quantanium is volatile. Like, does it need to go through another process or be refined before it even goes into the Starfarer? It's mechanics that we don't know yet, and we've just assumed because there's quantanium now that the Starfarer can't collect it, and I think that could change.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you for straightening that up. And I feel kind of silly now because I didn't know it was on your website, and you actually linked it to the source document. So
That's just all good.
exactly
But I
what I
mean,
needed.
you say straighten that out. I mean, I think all I've done is create more sort of like we don't know yet. It's more confusion than definites. And with Star Citizen, the only definite is change or whatever iteration, whatever Jared says. But it's true. Like we don't know, and you take it with a pinch of salt. That we know that the Starfarer is going to suit a purpose, and that purpose it should be fulfilled for the people that bought the ship. They should probably be happy once all the mechanics are done for it. But to be angry about that already, I like people talking about it. I like people making sure that CIG are certainly aware that they want it to be able to gather quantum fuel in some way still. But to be genuinely angry about it, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right way. But I'm pretty chill about a lot of stuff unless I get shot in Apex Legends. Actually, I get quite ragey in games when I play them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, hey, I 30K all the time and lose hundreds of thousands of credits in trading, so I understand what it's like to feel rage in a video game. That's
It'd
normal.
be nice. It'd be nice when that's not a thing anymore, or you'll be able to reconnect, and it saves your ship persistence, and you just spawn on your ship. Oh, oh.
Well, I mean, here's how I look at it. I remember in 3.0 doing trade, and I remember I'd go from Yell at Olisar, and I would crash just before hitting the landing area. Just before you'd feel good about the whole situation. And he would always crash there. And I remember the day where that went away, and you could all of a sudden get to the landing pad, and I'm like, holy moly, what a great feeling. And you don't really appreciate the little things until you get all these problems. So
Original 3.0 was such a weird patch because it
it's
was
true.
like, oh wow, this game is expanding, and there's some cool stuff here, and we're getting like actual missions, but it was so buggy.
Do you remember that they called the features back? Like there was more features in 3.0 than there was in 3.1.
Mm.
Didn't notice that? I noticed that for the ATC on the ground landing outpost.
There was so many things that like were causing performance issues and crashes constantly, and I was such weird things like we'd come from 2.6.3, and 2.6.3 was genuinely a great combat patch. Like I really enjoyed Arena Commander. I really enjoyed all the Arena Commander modes in 2.6.3. PvP felt competitive, uh, and I messed around and played a lot, even though there was a lot less to do. But I felt there was more reasons to do it back then. Like at the moment, I'm just like a Star Citizen tourist going at looking at pretty stuff, but I know that my persistence isn't going to stick, and at some point it's going to be wiped. So I'm sort of like less incentivized.
A lot of people are actually, and I think that works for us to a certain
Yeah,
extent. How did you see that the 100i fell on the roadmap today?
yeah. So the whole 100i series, which is the series they were probably talking about in the monthly report, they said they were bringing a series of ships into completion. It's good to know it's the 100i because then I can work out what the other three things they were talking about were. Because they in the monthly report they also talked about a vehicle they're working on, which we're assuming is the what I'm assuming is the mining ground vehicle they talked about at CitizenCon, and that Star Citizen Leaks has sort of like said going to be the mining ground vehicle soon. And then there's two other ships that they're working on, which could be mobile refinery, Tavaran fighter, Xi'an cargo ship, or some other stuff.
Are you a 100i owner? Do you have any attachment to the 100i?
I don't think so. I might have some for lifetime insurance tokens.
Yeah, good
I
token to have.
don't have any attachment to them though.
I was quite surprised. I was just like, why? Like, of all things, like maybe it's a low hanging fruit for them or something like that.
I think they want all the starships in game because it's gonna be a huge point of reference for their sales, more choice for their starters, maybe. Um, when they have those sort of packages available, I think that they probably sell pretty well.
I think this rules out the C2 for 311, though, don't you think?
I think we will see the C2 in the Q4 2020 patch,
Yeah.
though.
And I think it's for the best, too. Like, if they're going to incorporate any type of economy features for 311, then we'll probably want a second iteration of that for maybe 312 to go in with that C2.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I just want to see the bartender. Like genuinely, it's the first iteration of their gold standard of NPCs, or what will eventually become their gold standard. If he stands on a stool and spins around or T-posing, I think that a lot of people will be pretty angry. Um, it will probably be quite comical. So I'm hoping that the bartender isn't trash, but people are going to break him almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure we can break him.
But expect nothing less than the community of Star Citizen to break stuff.
Yeah, damn right. I was upset when they changed in Fleet Week that you couldn't uh, push the capital ships as easily into the ground, and you couldn't steal the F8s and the F7As anymore and things like that. They should have left that in for the duration. I think
I agree.
um,
Yeah,
it's
let the
very very
community
cool
have fun
stuff.
with it.
Yeah, let them break stuff. Let them that like. I think that's what Fleet Week's like when it was live. I think that's what a lot of people envision Eva Carty to be like all the time. I promise you, it is not.
No. If you're lucky to get into Evocati because it crashes so often, right?
Yeah, it might do. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Won't talk about specifics of it, but I will say that Ibakati is buggy. There are severe problems. There are things that need to be tested before they get into the hands of other testers, and it will and almost always is frustrating until after they release the Ivacati patch. And even then, you're like, "Oh my god, this should have stayed in Ivacati more." Well, it was a lot worse in Ivacati, I promise you. um,
I'm hoping to try out some TOW this weekend. If they open that up to Avocado, I'd like to give that a go. I don't even like to do combat, but I'm just so curious about this. So.
Yeah, it's. I think participating in the Theatres of War stuff is cool. I played it at Citizen Con, and I really enjoyed it then. And I've heard from some of my mates at CIG that their internal tests are going really, really, really well. Like they've severely improved a lot of the network code stuff. At least that's what I heard. And they've had the recent AMA, which they talked about it a lot. So I think we are seeing. Did they say they're trying for a avocado test this weekend? Was it? Maybe, I don't know. Don't know if that's. Might have heard that somewhere. I haven't actually
I've
checked.
heard that somewhere. That's just rumors. I'm just propagating the rumor mill. Sorry about that.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't actually checked on the avocado stuff to know if that's true. Can't break NDA if I haven't read it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's how I look at it. What do you? What's your opinion about this voxel-based fire? I don't really understand why they even mention that it's voxel-based fire. Is that like a buzzword? Like, how is that relevant?
uh, I don't really know why it's relevant, to be honest.
Okay,
But
thought
it's
I
it's
wasn't the only one
fire
who thought.
that can generate and propagate and move. Um, uh, I don't see why it's important that it's voxel. It's just is. It just, but I mean, maybe it is important for some reason. But yeah, I like the idea of fires breaking out on ships and them having to be part of the sort of like maintenance and repair. You have to like section off bits of the ship or turn on the fire suppression systems or vent area or use a fire extinguisher, which has killed a man
Yeah,
apparently.
I heard about that.
Um, uh,
Where do you know where fire extinguishers are? I don't think I've ever seen a fire extinguisher
Yeah,
in the
I've
game.
seen I've seen fire extinguishers. I can't work out how someone got killed by one. Um, I mean, once the it opens up to wider PTU, I will talk about some stuff. I will do some stuff in the build and then talk about it because I found some interesting things.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I mean, I don't want to hold you up too much here because I'm kind of sorry, I'm above my time. But I don't know. Like, what about like what are you planning for the future? What do you want to like? Is there anything that you can plug for the future for Board Gamer?
So more generally, I want to get back with doing my org spotlight stuff to 100%. Obviously, I'm hoping that we get a 3.10.0 by the end of the month. That'd be great. I'm getting my editor hopefully employed full time by the end of the month or thereabouts. And then I want to do a lot more content, a lot more streams, a lot more gameplay, just a lot more Star Citizen, and obviously I try and get it to a better quality. So any feedback on any of the videos that my editor does for me in the meantime, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll make it obvious that she has done the editing on them, though. I'll say, this has been edited by Zin, please feedback. So that people don't go like, has this been edited? No, is this better? I can't tell if it's better. You will know. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything I desperately want to plug. I might try and have some of the models I take to go and battle John Crew with eventually, and those guys. I might try and get community involvement with the paint schemes and stuff for them. Um, I don't really have anything to plug beyond the stuff that I normally do. Um, and if people have got feedback for me and they want to help me with anything, please contact me. That's sort of like my channel has been able to grow and get to a state where I've been able to run it as a business because of the Star Citizen community and because uh, I've been responsive to what the community's wanted because they've told me, and I need to keep on doing that. So I'm very appreciative for people like yourself that allow me to be on podcasts like this. But obviously, people sort of like not holding back with opinions and feedback for me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you taking the time to come and talk with me here, man. Seriously,
Yeah, no
big
worries at
deal.
all.
But I
Like,
have to want to take advantage of that org spotlight thing, so hopefully you don't
yes,
forget about me.
100%. No worries. I'll make sure you have a spot, as it were.
Cool.
Um,
Cool. Okay. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. And thank you again, Board Gamer, um, for hopping by today. And thanks everyone else who's watching. And next week is going to be Spazzy McGee. Stay tuned
oh,
until then. Have a good
what a
day,
lovely
guys.
name.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Love you guys.